stop for a moment. Look at your left hand, not casually, not absent-mindedly. Look at it like your destiny depends on it, because it does. There is a mark there, visible or invisible, physical or spiritual. That is 1 in a million, 1 in a million. Do you understand what that means? Out of millions who breathe, who walk, who dream, who struggle, there is something on you that cannot be copied, cannot be duplicated, cannot be erased by circumstance, by rejection, by betrayal, or by failure. And that mark is not an accident. It is not random biology. It is not coincidence. It is the signature of God. Before you were aware of yourself, before you knew your own name, before anyone spoke your identity over you, God placed something on you, a distinction, a separation, a quiet but undeniable difference. The mark on your left hand is not merely skin and lines and patterns. It is evidence. Evidence that God does not mass-produce purpose. Evidence that God does not create replicas. Evidence that your existence is intentional. Some people look at you and cannot explain why you are different. They feel it before they see it. They sense it before they understand it. You have wondered why certain rooms shift when you walk in. You have questioned why some people are drawn to you without reason, while others feel uncomfortable without cause. It is because the mark on you is not ordinary. It is not common. It is rare. It is 1 in a million. But rarity is not for comfort. Rarity is for responsibility. You see, when God marks a person, He does not do it for decoration. He does it for assignment. The mark on your left hand represents the work that will pass through your hands. It represents the impact your touch will carry. It represents the lives that will be changed because you chose obedience over fear. You are not marked to blend in. You are marked to stand out. And standing out is not easy. It means you will be misunderstood. It means you will be questioned. It means people will try to shrink you to fit their limitations. But God did not mark you to be reduced. There were moments in your life when you felt isolated, when you felt like you did not belong, when you felt like even those closest to you could not fully grasp who you are. That isolation was not punishment. It was preparation. When God sets someone apart, He often separates them first. Separation sharpens clarity. Separation strengthens faith. Separation forces you to depend on God instead of applause. The mark on your left hand is proof that you are set apart. And let me tell you something with power. Being set apart will cost you. It will cost you certain friendships. It will cost you comfort. It will cost you the illusion of fitting in. But what you gain is greater. You gain divine direction. You gain resilience that cannot be broken. You gain favor that cannot be manufactured. Do not despise the process that made you different. Do not curse the struggles that shaped you. Every hardship was carving the mark deeper. Every tear was refining the purpose within you. Every betrayal was strengthening your backbone. God was not ignoring you. He was engraving you. You have survived things that should have ended you. You have endured storms that should have silenced you. You have walked through valleys that should have erased your confidence. Yet here you are, still standing, still breathing, still believing. That is not luck. That is the mark on your left hand. Means there are doors that will open for you that will not open for others. Not because you are better, but because you are assigned. It means there are battles you will win that others cannot fight. Not because you are stronger, but because you are chosen for that battlefield. It means there are ideas inside you that will transform environments, not because you are superior, but because God planted them there. Understand this deeply. The enemy of your purpose is comparison. The moment you compare your mark to someone else's journey, you weaken your focus. No two marks are identical. No two assignments are the same. What God placed on you is tailored to you. It fits your temperament. It aligns with your calling. It matches your endurance. You do not need to look like anyone else. You do not need to move like anyone else. You do not need to succeed like anyone else. You only need to be faithful to the mark. There were times you tried to hide it, Times you try to downplay your difference. Times you try to dim your intensity so others would feel comfortable. But the mark does not fade because you ignore it. It does not disappear because you doubt it. It remains, waiting for you to recognize it. Recognition is the first step to activation. When you finally understand that you are one in a million, you start begging for validation. You stop chasing approval. You stop shrinking to fit into small spaces. You begin to walk with quiet authority. You begin to speak with conviction. You begin to move with purpose. And here is the powerful truth. The mark on your left hand is not just about you. It is about the people who are waiting for you to step into your role. There are individuals whose breakthrough is connected to your obedience. There are families whose hope is tied to your courage. There are communities whose transformation is waiting for your faith. When you doubt yourself, you delay them. This is why you must rise. This is why you must believe. This is why you must refuse to let fear dictate your steps. The mark is a reminder that God saw something in you worth investing in. He saw resilience when you felt weak. He saw leadership when you felt inadequate. He saw influence when you felt invisible. You were never ordinary, and ordinary thinking cannot carry extraordinary purpose. You cannot approach your life casually. You cannot waste your time on distractions that drain your spirit. You cannot allow negativity to sit comfortably in your mind. The marked live differently. They guard their focus. They protect their peace. They choose discipline over impulse. The mark demands maturity. There are seasons when you will feel pressure, intense, uncomfortable pressure. That pressure is not there to crush you. It is there to reveal you. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Strength is forged under resistance. Character is refined under trial. The mark on your left hand means you were built to withstand what others cannot. Do not run from pressure, stand firm in it. When you feel overwhelmed, remember who marked you. When you feel uncertain, remember who assigned you. When you feel alone, remember who walks with you. God does not mark and abandon, He marks and sustains. He marks and equips. He marks and protects. Protection does not mean absence of difficulty. It means preservation in the midst of it. You have been preserved for a reason. There were accidents that missed you. There were plans that failed against you. There were words spoken to break you that lost their power. You are still here because your mark has not yet fulfilled its full expression. Do not underestimate your timing. Some seeds take longer to grow because their harvest is greater. Some callings take longer to manifest because their impact is wider. Patience is not delay. It is alignment. The mark on your left hand also symbolizes action. Hands build, hands create, hands serve, hands fight, hands bless. God placed purpose in your hands because He expects movement. Faith without action is stagnation. Belief without obedience is wasted potential. What are you building? What are you creating? What are you contributing? You are not marked to consume life. You are marked to shape it. And shaping life requires courage. Courage to speak when silence would be easier. Courage to start when procrastination whispers comfort. Courage to continue when results seem slow. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision that purpose is greater than fear. Every time you choose courage, the mark shines brighter. There will be critics. There will be doubters. There will be those who cannot see what God showed you. Do not argue with blindness. Do not wrestle with ignorance. Keep moving, keep building, keep believing. The mark is validated by obedience, not by applause. Some of you have been waiting for a sign. You have been asking God for confirmation. Let this be the confirmation. You would not feel this stirring inside you if you were average. You would not feel this dissatisfaction with mediocrity if you were meant for ordinary. You would not feel this hunger for impact if you were designed for smallness. That hunger is part of the mark. Feed it with discipline. Strengthen it with prayer. Guard it with wisdom. And listen carefully. The mark is not only about success in visible ways. It is about integrity in invisible moments. It is about choosing righteousness when no one is watching. It is about honoring God in private before representing Him in public. Character sustains what talent begins. If you neglect your character, the weight of your calling will crush you. Build depth, build substance, build humility. Humility does not mean thinking less of yourself. It means understanding that your gift is from God and for God. It means recognizing that your strength flows from a greater source. When you remain humble, the mark remains pure. When pride enters, clarity leaves. Guard your heart. The world will try to redefine you. It will try to label you. It will try to reduce you to categories that make you manageable. But you are not manageable. You are marked for influence, marked for impact, marked for endurance, marked for victory. And victory does not always look like celebration. Sometimes victory looks like survival. Sometimes victory looks like standing when you want to collapse. Do not despise small victories. They are evidence that the mark is active. As you move forward, remember this. The mark on your left hand is not a burden. It is a blessing. It is not a weight meant to elevate you. But elevation requires responsibility. Responsibility requires discipline. Discipline requires surrender. Surrender your doubts to God. Surrender your timeline to God. Trust that the one who marked you knows exactly when and how your purpose will unfold. There is greatness in you that you have not yet seen. There is strength in you that you have not yet spoken. Do not let insecurity silence what God intended to amplify. Stand tall, walk boldly, speak clearly. The mark on your left hand is 1 in a million. And because of that, your obedience must be uncommon. Your focus must be relentless. Your faith must be unshakable. You are not here by accident. You are not breathing by chance. You are not surviving by luck. You are marked by God. And because you are marked by God, your life cannot be measured by ordinary standards. You cannot define yourself by statistics, by trends, or by the limited expectations of those who only see the surface. The mark on your left hand speaks of divine intention. And divine intention always transcends human limitation. When God marks someone, He writes a story that cannot be erased by opposition. He drafts a future that cannot be cancelled by delay. He establishes a purpose that cannot be overthrown by envy. There is a reason your battles have been intense. There is a reason your path has required resilience. The greater the mark, the greater the resistance. But resistance is not proof of failure. It is confirmation of value. Thieves do not guard empty houses. Storms do not target ground that carries no weight. When you face unusual challenges, understand that you carry unusual potential. The pressure around you is often a reaction to the power within you. Do not be intimidated by the magnitude of your calling. Do not shrink because the assignment feels bigger than your comfort. God does not consult your insecurity before He places destiny in your hands. He does not measure your background before He measures your obedience. The mark on your left hand is not there because you were the most qualified. It is there because God decided you were the right vessel. And when God decides, no human opinion can overturn it. You have spent too much time questioning whether you are enough. Let that question die today. If the mark came from God, then everything you need to fulfill it will also come from God. Strength will come when weakness tries to dominate. Wisdom will come when confusion attempts to cloud your thinking. Provision will come when resources seem scarce. Guidance will come when the road appears unclear. But you must move. The mark on your left hand is not activated by hesitation. It responds to faith in action. When you step forward despite uncertainty, you demonstrate trust. When you speak truth despite fear, you demonstrate alignment. When you choose righteousness despite temptation, you demonstrate loyalty. And loyalty to God unlocks levels of purpose that doubt can never access. Some of you have been waiting for perfect conditions. You have been saying, when I feel ready, I will begin. When everything is stable, I will commit. When the timing is ideal, I will step out. But understand this deeply. Perfection is not the requirement. Obedience is. The mark was not placed on a perfect person. It was placed on a willing heart. Willingness attracts divine empowerment. There are hidden capacities within you that have not yet been revealed because you have not yet stepped into the challenge that demands them. Courage expands under pressure. Vision sharpens under responsibility. Leadership grows under accountability. The mark on your left hand means there are dimensions of yourself that only adversity can uncover. Do not resent the process that is revealing you. Every time you choose integrity over compromise, the mark gains clarity. Every time you forgive when bitterness feels justified, the mark gains authority. Every time you persist when quitting seems reasonable, the mark gains influence. These choices may appear small to the world, but in the sight of God, they are monumental. Because the mark is not only about what you achieve, it is about who you become. Character is the foundation of destiny. You cannot carry divine purpose with a divided heart. You cannot represent God's intention while entertaining destructive patterns. There must be alignment between your calling and your conduct. The mark on your left hand is sacred. It represents a trust, and trust demands faithfulness. Examine your habits. Examine your thoughts. Examine your motivations. Are they strengthening the mark or weakening it? Are they pushing you toward purpose or pulling you into distraction? Discipline is not restriction. It is protection. It protects your focus. It protects your vision. It protects your future. There are voices around you that will attempt to define you by your past. They will remind you of your mistakes. They will highlight your failures. They will whisper that your history disqualifies you. But hear this clearly. The mark on your left hand was not placed there after you became flawless. It was placed there before you understood yourself. God knew your imperfections and still chose you. God saw your weaknesses and still invested in you. Your past is not your prison. It is your preparation. The pain you endured sharpened your empathy. The rejection you faced strengthened your resolve. The disappointments you survived deepened your dependence on God. Nothing was wasted. Every experience was shaping you into someone who could handle the weight of the mark and make no mistake. The mark carries weight. It carries the weight of influence, the weight of expectation. There will be moments when you feel the heaviness of being different, moments when you wish you could live without the pressure of purpose. But remember, light objects are easily blown away. It is weight that anchors you. It is weight that gives stability. The weight of your calling keeps you grounded in God. Do not envy those who seem carefree without direction. Direction is a privilege. Purpose is a gift. The mark on your left hand also signifies authority. Not authority to uplift, authority to bring clarity where there is confusion, authority to bring courage where there is fear, authority to bring hope where there is despair. When you speak from alignment with God, your words carry substance. When you act from obedience, your actions carry impact. You must stop underestimating the power of your presence. There are rooms that feel different when you enter because the mark you carry shifts atmospheres. There are conversations that change direction because the wisdom you speak redirects them. There are people who find strength simply by observing your resilience. You may not always see the ripple effect of your faithfulness, but it exists, and the ripple will become a wave. God does not mark someone for a small echo. He marks them for lasting influence. The seeds you plant today through obedience will grow into trees that provide shade for others tomorrow. But growth takes time. Do not uproot your faith because the harvest is not immediate. Roots grow in silence. Foundations are laid underground. What is hidden now will become visible later. Trust the unseen work. In seasons when nothing seems to be happening, everything is happening beneath the surface. Your patience is being strengthened. Your discernment is being sharpened. Your spirit is being fortified. The mark is deepening. Depth matters more than display. Substance matters more than spotlight. When the time comes for elevation, You will not crumble because you have been built from within. Guard yourself against arrogance when success begins to show. The mark is a reminder that your strength is not self-generated. Remain grateful, remain aware, remain connected to God. Gratitude keeps your heart clean. Awareness keeps your mind focused. Connection keeps your spirit aligned. There will be opportunities that look attractive, but lead you away from your assignment. Not every open door is meant for you. Discernment is essential. The mark on your left hand gives you identity, but you must protect it with wisdom. Seek guidance, hear from God before making decisions. Ask for clarity before committing to paths that glitter but do not align. Alignment is more important than applause. You are not created to impact. Impressing people fades quickly. Impacting lives echoes through generations. The mark on your left hand is generational. It is not confined to your lifetime. Your obedience today will influence tomorrow's stories. Think beyond yourself. Your discipline today may inspire someone watching you silently. Your courage today may empower someone who feels weak. Your faith today may restore someone who is losing hope. The mark is not selfish. It is service-orientated. God marks individuals so that communities can be strengthened. And service requires sacrifice. There will be days when you feel tired, days when you feel misunderstood, days when you question whether it is worth it. In those moments, return to the source, return to God, lay your exhaustion before Him, lay your doubts before Him, lay your fears before Him. You do not carry this alone. Renewal comes from connection. When you reconnect with God, clarity returns, strength returns, vision returns. The mark begins to glow again in your awareness. You remember who you are. You remember why you started. You remember that you are one in a million, not because of ego, but because of divine intention. Let that intention fuel you. Walk into your days with expectation. Expect growth. Expect opportunities. Expect lessons. Expect challenges that refine you rather than break you. Expect doors to open at the right time. Expect protection even when you cannot see it. Expect guidance when decisions feel heavy. Expectation aligned with faith transforms your posture. You no longer move like someone hoping to survive. You move like someone prepared to fulfill destiny. The mark on your left hand is not fading, S not weakening. It is not accidental. It is alive with purpose. It is a reminder every time you lift your hand to build, to bless, to defend, to create, to serve, that you are entrusted with something rare. Do not live casually with the rare calling. Be mindful with your time. Be mindful with your words. Be courageous with your actions. Be disciplined with your habits. Be humble in your victories. Be steadfast in your trials. Every choice either strengthens the mark or neglects it, and you are not created to neglect what God entrusted to you. Rise above doubt. Rise above fear. Rise above distraction. Rise above the small thinking that tries to confine you. You carry a mark that statistics cannot explain and circumstances cannot cancel. 1 in a million means you are rare, but rare does not mean fragile. It means valuable. It means purposeful. It means designed with precision. Let your life reflect the precision of your design. Let your faith reflect the depth of your calling. Let your obedience reflect the trust God placed in you when He marked your left hand with destiny. Understand this clearly. The mark on your left hand is not decoration. It is declaration. It declares to the heavens, to the earth, and to the forces that oppose you that you are set apart. It declares that God has chosen you for something greater than yourself. It declares that your life cannot be contained within ordinary expectations because God's design for you transcends the limits of human imagination. Every line, every curve, every imperfection of that mark is intentional. It carries authority, assignment, and destiny. When you grasp this truth, you begin to walk differently. You begin to see challenges not as obstacles, but as confirmations. You begin to see storms not as punishment, but as training grounds for purpose. You begin to see opposition not as rejection, but as recognition too. That something rare is stirring in the world. The world will never understand your mark because the world does not measure by the same standards God uses. People will mock it, people will doubt it, people will underestimate it, and yet the mark remains unchanged, unshaken, undeniable. Because God does not place marks on mediocrity. He does not engrave destiny on the ordinary. He places them on those He intends to use as pillars of strength, as vessels of influence, as beacons of hope. You are that 1 in a million. And because of that, your life has a weight that requires responsibility, patience, and obedience. Do not shrink from the weight of the mark. Do not evade the assignment it carries. Too many walk through life ignoring their marks, trying to fit into molds that were never meant for them. They try to please others, to blend in, to hide what God made unique. But the mark on your left hand was never meant to be hidden. It was meant to be activated, embraced, and wielded. You were designed to touch the lives of people, to shift environments, to create movement that ripples far beyond your immediate reach. The left hand, the hand of action, is a reminder that what God marks must be used. Faith without action is incomplete. Vision without movement is wasted. Calling without execution is a tragedy. You must take responsibility for the gift that God has placed on you. Responsibility begins with awareness. You must recognize that being 1 in a million is not a prize. It is a mandate. It is not an entitlement. It is an assignment, and assignments come with accountability. The mark does not excuse laziness, procrastination, or half-hearted effort. It commands excellence because God does not entrust greatness to carelessness. When you grasp this, you understand why the mark often attracts trials. The enemy knows the power it carries. The enemy fears its potential. The enemy will test your faith, challenge your patience, and attempt to cloud your vision. But these trials are not evidence that the mark is weak. They are evidence that the mark is real. Do not fear trials. Embrace them. Let every difficulty sharpen your obedience. Let every setback refine your perspective. Let every challenge deepen your reliance on God. The 1 in a million mark is not for comfort seekers. It is for those willing to endure, to persist, to rise even when circumstances seem impossible. You are marked for perseverance. You are marked for victory. And victory is never born without struggle. And understand this, the mark carries influence far beyond what you can see. Your actions, your words, your attitude, your faith, every choice you make resonates through invisible channels. Someone's breakthrough may be tied to your obedience. Someone's freedom may hinge on your courage. Someone's hope may depend on your faith. You are marked not only for your life, but for the lives of others. Your influence is encoded in the very lines God placed on you. You cannot ignore this. You cannot diminish it. You cannot treat it casually. To neglect your mark is to neglect the blessing that God intends to flow through you to the world. Do not despise small steps. The mark does not require instant recognition. The mark requires consistency. Every decision, every prayer, every act of faith, every moment of patience, every choice to do what is right when it is difficult, these are the ways the mark is activated. Greatness is not always explosive. Sometimes it is silent, subtle, unnoticed by the world, but powerful before God. The mark responds to faithfulness, not fanfare. It honors discipline, not convenience. It elevates perseverance over popularity. The left hand is a hand of labor, of service, of creation. God did not mark you to stand idle, He marked you to move, to build, to shape, and to bless. Your mark is evidence that your touch carries authority, that your work carries purpose, that your actions carry eternal weight. The world may question your timing, but God's timing is perfect. The mark is not delayed. It is unfolding according to a divine plan. Every moment of waiting, every season of preparation, every encounter that challenges your patience is part of the divine calibration of your life. You must trust that calibration You must embrace the waiting. You must prepare diligently in secret, knowing that when the moment of activation comes, your mark will shine brilliantly. The preparation may be unseen, the effort unnoticed, the sacrifices invisible, but the impact will be undeniable. The mark ensures it, the mark guarantees it. There is power in recognition. When you recognize the mark, your perspective changes. You no longer measure success by ordinary standards. You no longer settle for mediocrity. You no longer allow fear or comparison to dictate your actions. You begin to operate with purpose-driven confidence because you understand that what God has placed on you is unmatched. 1 in a million is not a number, it is a declaration. 1 in a million is not a title, it is a destiny. 1 in a million is not about survival, it is about fulfillment. And fulfillment is achieved when faith aligns with obedience, when your heart surrenders to God's direction, when your hands are willing to labor in alignment with the purpose written upon them. The mark on your left hand is evidence that God is not passive in your life. He is actively shaping, guiding, equipping, and preparing you to carry out the extraordinary. Do not allow doubt, fear, or delay to overshadow the truth of what God has placed within you. Your mark is alive, it is vibrant, it is persistent. It is proof that you have been chosen for a rare assignment. It is proof that ordinary cannot contain you. It is proof that the life God has designed for you cannot be stolen, ignored, or destroyed by any circumstance. Walk in the confidence of that mark. Speak with the authority of that mark. Move with the courage of that mark. Serve with the diligence of that mark. Build with the passion of that mark. Live with the faith of that mark. Every moment you acknowledge the mark, you tap into divine favor. Every action you take in alignment with the mark amplifies your impact. Every challenge you face in obedience strengthens your testimony. Every time you refuse to shrink, you honor God's decision to mark you. And understand this, the world may never fully recognize the magnitude of your mark, but that does not diminish its power. God sees it. God honors it. God will use it to accomplish what only He can accomplish through you. The mark on your left hand is sacred. It is evidence of intentional design. It is evidence of divine selection. It is evidence that your life carries significance that is unparalleled. 1 in a million is not an exaggeration. It is reality. Your challenges, your victories, your preparation, your faith, all of these are connected to that mark. And every moment you choose to operate with awareness of it, you step further into your destiny, further into God's plan, and further into the extraordinary life that has been written for you alone. If you are ready to live as 1 in a million, then recognize the weight of your mark. Embrace the responsibility it carries. Walk boldly in the calling it represents. Serve faithfully with the power it signifies. Trust wholly in the one who marked you. For He will never place a mark on someone without also providing the strength to fulfill its purpose. Your left hand is not ordinary. Your left hand is not accidental. Your left hand is a beacon, a tool, a signature of God's design. The world may not understand it, but the marked do not need approval. They need obedience. And in your obedience, the mark comes alive. It transforms potential into reality. It converts struggle into strength. It turns waiting into breakthrough. It channels divine favor into tangible impact. It shapes ordinary moments into extraordinary testimonies. Your mark is 1 in a million. And because it is, you must live like it. There is a principle that every 1 in a million must understand. Uniqueness is never meant for comfort. It is meant for challenge. It is meant for responsibility. The mark on your left hand is not a reward for mediocrity. It is a calling to excellence. God does not mark ordinary people and expect extraordinary results. He marks those whose spirit can endure pressure, whose mind can hold vision, and whose faith can rise above circumstances. You are not created to drift through life. You are created to move with precision, purpose and power. And every line, every contour of your left hand is a map to the assignment that only you can fulfill. Too many underestimate the power of God's mark. They see only the surface and miss the source. But the mark is never about what people can see. It is about what God can accomplish through you. It carries an invisible authority that commands situations, transforms environments, and shifts hearts. Every choice you make in alignment with that mark amplifies influence. Every step you take in courage, in faith, in obedience, magnifies destiny. You are not here to live in smallness. You are here to expand the boundaries of possibility that God has already written for you. Your mark attracts attention, not always positive. Some will admire you, some will resent you. That is natural, because the extraordinary always challenges the ordinary. Do not be distracted by the opinions of the unmarked. The value of your mark is not determined by applause, popularity, or approval. Its value is confirmed by God. Its activation depends on your willingness to remain faithful when no one is watching, when results seem delayed, when opposition seems overwhelming. The 1 in a million does not measure success by comfort. Success is measured by obedience. There will be moments when the weight of the mark feels heavy. The enemy will attempt to confuse you, to delay you, to convince you that your uniqueness is a mistake. But let me declare this with conviction. Every line of your hand, every stirring in your spirit, every inclination of your heart toward purpose is intentional. God marked you. He saw your potential. He saw your strength. He saw your endurance. And He placed a divine assignment in your hands that no one else can carry. And you must take ownership of it. Ownership begins with clarity. You must see yourself the way God sees you, not through the lens of fear, doubt, or past failure, but through the lens of destiny. You are 1 in a million creation, marked to influence, to build, to serve, to lead, and to transform. Nothing about your life is accidental. Every encounter, every struggle, every victory has been orchestrated to prepare you for this moment, to equip you for this assignment, and to confirm that you are set apart. The world will offer shortcuts. It will tempt you to compromise. It will pressure you to conform. But the mark demands integrity. It demands courage. It demands perseverance. Your faith must be unshakable, your discipline unwavering, your vision clear. The 1 in a million mark cannot be carried casually. It is sacred. It is powerful. It is eternal in impact. And it demands a response, action, commitment, and unwavering trust in God. You are not meant to imitate. You are E-N, to innovate. You are not meant to follow. You are meant to lead. You are not meant to survive quietly. You are meant to thrive visibly. Your mark carries authority that commands respect even in silence. It carries influence that shifts culture even without recognition. It carries purpose that touches generations even when the world is unaware. Every moment you embrace it, you expand the impact of God's plan for your life. Understand this. God's mark is relational. It connects you to opportunities, people, and moments that align with your purpose. Doors will open that no one else can access. People will cross your path who are sent to accelerate your assignment. Circumstances will shift in ways that defy logic because the mark is a divine magnet. But the magnet works only when you are aligned, focused, and obedient. Hesitation, fear, and distraction weaken the pull. Faith activates it. Action amplifies it. Obedience sustains it. Every hand that is marked carries responsibility. Every touch, every decision, every influence must honor the mark. It is a covenant with destiny, a signature of God, and a living testament to divine wisdom. When you acknowledge the mark, you begin to operate on a higher plane. You no longer settle for the ordinary because you are aware that ordinary cannot contain the extraordinary. You no longer fear opposition because you understand that resistance confirms value. You no longer question your path because you know the designer of the mark knows the way. And make no mistake, the mark is alive. It is not static. It grows, strengthens, and becomes more potent with every act of faithfulness. Every challenge you overcome fortifies it. Every obedience you maintain sharpens it. Every discipline you maintain sharpens it. The 1 in a million mark is a living emblem of divine investment, a tangible proof that God has not forgotten you, and a constant reminder that you are created for a life that exceeds the ordinary. You must also understand the relational power of your mark. God marked you to touch lives that others cannot reach. Your influence is contagious. Your courage inspires, your vision directs, your faith empowers. There are people walking in darkness who need the light your mark carries. There are hearts broken that need the strength your mark conveys. There are minds confused that need the clarity your mark delivers. One person operating in alignment with God can shift an entire generation, and your mark positions you to be that one person. Do not squander it. Do not dilute it. Do not ignore it. The 1 in a million mark is sacred, strategic, and significant. It requires stewardship. It requires dedication. It requires vigilance. The path of the marked is not always easy, but it is always purposeful. Every sacrifice you make to maintain alignment with God multiplies your impact. Every moment you resist compromise, every decision you make with integrity, every act of courage amplifies the authority of the mark. And the world will take notice, not always immediately, but inevitably. The 1 in a million cannot remain hidden forever. When the time comes, your life will radiate the evidence of the mark. Opportunities will appear that were previously unimaginable. People will be drawn to your vision, not because you sought approval, but because God designed it to be irresistible. Doors will open, paths will align, and your assignment will unfold with clarity, precision, and power. The mark on your left hand also reminds you that your journey is unique. There is no other person who can fulfill your assignment exactly as you can. No one else has your combination of experiences, insights, resilience, and faith. No one else carries the same divine signature in their hands. You are 1 in a M, alien, because the combination of your gifts, your trials, and your obedience cannot be replicated. The world may attempt to copy, imitate, or compete, but the mark remains exclusive and its power remains unmatched. To operate fully in the mark, you must embrace boldness. Boldness to act when hesitation tempts you. Boldness to speak when fear whispers silence. Boldness to trust when the path seems unclear. Boldness is the language of the 1 in a million, because boldness demonstrates understanding that the mark is alive, that the mark is intentional, and that the mark carries authority only activated through courage. And let me make this abundantly clear. Your mark is not conditional on external validation. You do not need recognition to prove it. You do not need applause to justify it. The mark exists because God placed it there. Its value is determined by God, and its power is confirmed through obedience. When you act in alignment with the mark, you unleash its influence regardless of what anyone else says or thinks. You have within you a treasure that cannot be stolen, a signature that cannot be nullified. The mark on your left hand is your proof, your guarantee, your distinction. It is a symbol of divine foresight and an emblem of eternal purpose. And when you begin to fully understand and operate in the truth of the mark, you will realize that nothing is impossible. Nothing is unattainable. Nothing is outside the reach of God's plan for your life. You are rare. You are unique. You are chosen. And you are powerful. The mark on your left hand is 1 in a million, not as a statistic, but as a statement that God has a plan, a purpose, and a mission for you that only you can fulfill. Walk in it, embrace it, activate it, live it, and let the world witness the undeniable force of a life marked by God, designed for destiny and destined for impact. So now hear this clearly. The mark on your left hand is not just a mark. It is your identity, your assignment, and your divine signature. It is proof that you are one in a million, chosen, set apart, and equipped by God to fulfill a purpose no one else can. All the trials, all the preparation, all the waiting, all the pressure, it was designed to awaken the power within you, to sharpen your faith, and to reveal your destiny. Do not shrink. Do not compromise, do not doubt. Rise with boldness, walk with courage, and act with unwavering obedience. Let every choice honor the mark. Let every action amplify the assignment. And let every step reflect the purpose God placed within you. The world may not understand it, others may not recognize it, but God sees it, God confirms it, and God will use it to accomplish extraordinary things. You are rare. You are powerful. You are one in a million. Carry the mark with confidence. Activate it with faith. Live it with purpose. And let the life you live testify to the undeniable truth. God marked you for greatness, and nothing, no obstacle, no doubt, no delay can ever diminish what God has placed in your hands.